What up, world? We're back, and this is a special episode of An Entrepreneur's Journey with my wife, Brittany Coriano.
Hi.
So, I wanted to talk about what it's like to date an entrepreneur. She doesn't like that I'm wearing sunglasses, and she doesn't have to be all dressed up. But we're going to talk about what it's like to date an entrepreneur. So, some of you guys might want to date an entrepreneur or are dating an entrepreneur, and we just want to have a quick conversation about what we've learned about dating an entrepreneur. Spoiler alert, we're married. So we're gonna talk about. Oh man, it's on the rocks.
No.
So we're gonna on the next video we'll talk about what it's like to marry an entrepreneur and actually make that commitment. So in this video we're gonna talk about what it's like to date an entrepreneur. So we can have her open up. What is it like to date an entrepreneur when it comes to, let's talk about just their lifestyle.
Um, it's exciting. It's motivating. Right now I work I have a typical like 9 to 5 job. I work like technically 8 to 4, but in 9 to 5, so to speak, I go into an office. I have a boss. So seeing the way Nick runs his businesses and he gets to be creative, he gets to really design the life he wants, and his day looks how he wants it to be. He doesn't have someone telling him you have to do this at this time and you have to be here at this time. He really is in control. So I think overall it's very inspiring and very motivating to myself to be able to observe that and witness that. And throughout all these years, he's really inspired me.
So talking about time, having a bunch of time off also leads to another conversation we've had before about my time off because I work from anywhere, right? So like a lot of people that work from home, I get asked to do a lot of things just because I'm home.
Mhm.
So this is something you guys may want to think about when you're dating or an entrepreneur, that there's probably going to be some slack that you're going to pick up at home. Um, and that someone might ask you for some slack. And I think we had some conversations about how this is, like, we have an open conversation about that. So
Yeah.
what do you think about
I think it's really important that when you're in a relationship with someone or you're married to someone that is an entrepreneur, that you're really conscious of their time. Although they are, making their own work schedule and they're working from home or they're working remotely, their time is just as valuable as my time or your time when we're working. So I think I've just had to be more conscious going forward, asking him if he can do something, not just putting anything on his plate. Oh, well, you're home, you can do this, or I'm going to be working, so you need to do this. It's something that I'm constantly trying to make myself conscious of and remind myself that, his time is just as valuable as mine. And it's good to always ask, hey, is it okay if you do this? Because it does change his schedule for what he was going to do that day.
and for me it's definitely made me not promote the idea that I can work whenever I want. Because although it's true, you have to work hard as an entrepreneur. So the more I put that out into the atmosphere, oh, I can work whenever I want, kind of the more it opens the door for her to be like, oh, you can do whatever you want. Huh? I need help with this or I need help with that. So I think about that a lot. What about the finances of an entrepreneur? Like, my revenue streams aren't consistent. They're not, my money doesn't come in every day, and we have bills that come in every day. So what were you thinking before you even married me, when you met me and you said, "Man, this guy doesn't have a stable stream of income," or
Yeah,
did you,
when I
view
met
it in
him,
a different light, or did you see it in a different light?
When I met him, he was in law school. So me thinking, oh, he's going to be a lawyer. Like, my uncle's a lawyer. He makes good money. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I found out he's actually an entrepreneur. He didn't ever want to be a practicing attorney, although he was in law school. I was like, oh,
It's on the
okay.
bucket list. It's just not high up there.
I kind of had to reshift my focus. I've always made my own money, which I encourage all women or significant others to do. You should be able to provide for yourself. So I think that doesn't bother me because I make my own money. Of course, I would love if every business that Nick starts makes him millions and millions of dollars. It makes my life easier. But I mean, if it doesn't, I'm okay too, because I have my own career and my own money coming in on a regular basis. So I encourage everyone to do that too.
I agree. I think that we haven't tried the dynamics of both being entrepreneurs, so, but I know it definitely makes it easier to have. Exactly. She's budding.
A wannabe.
Yeah, maybe I'll put her blog link down. She doesn't like me to promote her, but maybe I'll put her blog link at the bottom of this so you guys can
Not
check
yet.
it out.
It's not ready yet.
Okay, so
some people can relate to that.
So you're really self-sustaining in your business. Do you worry about my finances? Do you worry about me being able to come up with the bills?
No.
I know this is an issue.
No, I
Deep
don't.
down inside. She
deep
does.
down,
She have to.
deep down, I don't worry because I know what he's capable of. I've seen it, and I believe in him, so I know that he would figure something out.
Okay, this isn't a braggadocious session about me. We're trying to figure out what it's like to date an entrepreneur. So,
oh well, I mean, obviously there's the realistic side to dating someone where it isn't.
Exactly. Let's talk for a second. So we're gonna rewind the clock. We're gonna go back about 5 years ago. Me and her are living in Chicago.
Okay.
I'm about to graduate school. I just told her, I'm not taking the bar exam. She doesn't know how I'm gonna make my money, and I spend a couple $1,000s on land in the middle of nowhere.
I die.
What were your thoughts?
Die. I was so scared. I was scared. I was confused. I didn't know. I was just like, what? Like, I didn't understand. I didn't get it. Don't know if I even wanted to get it. But it was really scary.
So as an entrepreneur, this is one of those things that when we were in the beginning parts of our relationship, so it threw her for a loop that I made a drastic move. Now I make a lot of drastic moves. I start businesses all the time. I think at this point she gets the idea that just because I'm into something, it doesn't mean it's
doesn't mean we're moving to the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. So how do you feel now when I come up with venture ideas or I execute on certain venture ideas? Is there a little more
excited.
calm?
Oh yeah, I'm super excited for you. Now when he comes to me with all these different ideas, I'm like, yes, that's awesome. I just have a different approach about it now, but I also have a different understanding of it now, since we have been together for as long as we have been.
So you say it takes time to understand an entrepreneurial lifestyle?
I think depending on the person. Yeah.
Did you
it
know?
Took time for me at least. I don't know. Some people may be just more flexible in their thinking. I think that also comes with probably age and experience.
If someone asked you what an entrepreneur was 10 years ago and then what you learn now, what are the differences do you think in perception of what you had as a picture of an entrepreneur before and what an entrepreneur is now? Or is it the same thing? Did it not really change?
No, I think I've really seen the struggle of what being an entrepreneur is.
I'm like, the struggle's real, folks.
I think sometimes when you hear someone's an entrepreneur, you're already making the assumption that they have a business or multiple businesses that are producing all this money and that they're so financially stable. You don't really see all of the groundwork and all of the baby steps and all of the really, really hard work and the hustle that really starts out, and that with entrepreneurs, they get a lot of ideas. So it's a lot of ideas and sorting through those ideas and pursuing those ideas, and maybe they work out and maybe they don't, or maybe you swing 100 times and one hit, you get a home run. So I think I understand, or I see the struggle and the hustle that really goes into it now, which maybe before I didn't get.
Well, we're under time too, so let's talk about when we got married. So were there any concerns in an entrepreneur's future as a future wife of an entrepreneur? Like, so let's dig deep. Let's talk about how our tax returns. So we both have student loans. Disclaimer: we're married and we have student loans. So those are 2 disclaimers for the show. But how much did that make you nervous, or the idea that some of the things that I do could increase liability on you? Ooh, look
scary.
At that face.
Ooh, it's really scary.
Yeah.
It's honest, yeah.
So why go over? Why walk that tight wire?
Because I love you.
Ooh,
I believe in him. I 100% believe in him, and I have faith in him.
And that reminds me of on my side, if you are an entrepreneur, you want a woman that believes in you, man, because it's impossible to do it with any kind of friction there. So you guys have to be on the same page if you are going to date someone, regardless of whether you're an entrepreneur or not an entrepreneur. Yep. Okay, so any last advice for women who may want to date an entrepreneur, or anyone who may want to date an entrepreneur? Give them some tips, some advice on what to look out for, what to be careful for, and how to sleep at night. I
think you need to be patient. I think that you have to want to try to understand. I think, the desire to wanting to understand or seeking to understand what your significant other is going through is important. Not having up all these either preconceived notions or these stereotypes, these judgments in your mind, maybe like breaking down those walls and just kind of taking it for what it is. Being supportive, always being supportive, I think that's really probably the biggest thing, and just surrounding them with positivity and love, because what they're doing is really, really hard, just like all of us.
All right, and my advice for entrepreneurs dating a non-entrepreneur, I guess, would be just be realistic with them. be understanding that they're not an entrepreneur and that they don't get everything, right? And that their risk tolerance isn't as high as yours for the most part. And this concludes another episode of An Entrepreneur's Journey. It's the last time you're going to see her until maybe season 3. We got something up the sleeve. So subscribe to the page below. Follow us on YouTube or follow me on YouTube here at Push Your Rank. And comment in the section below if you guys want to have any more discussions or you want to ask her any more questions, because I'm sure you guys do.
Hit me up.
We'll talk soon, guys. See you guys later.
Bye.